Right, I don't know how everyone's looking for time because we're getting on a bit, but did we want to do a little bit of peering mobbing and looking at some of some katas, or if everybody has time? So we can do. I mean, I don't mind going through, but for a bit, I can go till about 9 if people want to. Yep.
I'm good to stop on for half hour.
Cool. Okay. But yeah, if anybody, definitely feel free to, unmute yourself. This is meant to be the little social group thing. So yeah, feel free to chip in and we'll go through this together. So yeah, I've got some katas actually. So I've got some on my GitHub. So I've done some of these with this one is PHP unit test, which is similar to the ones Michael was just showing, and a pretty similar sort of setup actually to what you were just showing with the test directory and whatever. And I got this one, which is running pest PHP, which is the newer testing framework. So I was playing with it not long after it just came out, actually. So there's a bit of traction coming around with it now. But yeah, I was having a bit of a play with it recently. So those are there. And then before I thought we'd do this, I've set up something similar. Again, just in a little repository. So there's leaderboard, got that fixed. I'll push fixes to that. But yeah, as well as that, there's other sites we can use to do these sort of katas and things as well. So exorcism is one I've used quite a bit. And it's quite nice because there's different tracks in here, so it's not just PHP again. There's other things. I was going to sort of pick up on some PHP ones. It's a little bit misleading actually because they're all sort of easy, medium, hard, or whatever. Bowling is down here as being quite easy, but I'd argue that's maybe one of the more complex ones. But they do have their own tests for the most part, but I don't find them to be that good. So usually I'll just look at the instructions and then go from there and do it more TDD style personally. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, I thought we'd have a go at some of these. I know some people had mentioned wanting to do some of these before. I thought it'd be fun. So yeah, I'll drive, but if anyone wants to definitely feel free to shout out and we can go. So yeah, so I've got, let's see, this repo, if I move zoom out of the way, we can see. So this is the same repo we just saw on GitHub. So I've got tests and I've got other things. And then on this side, we've got PHP 8. So we can probably use some new PHP 8 things if you want. Let's see, there is pest and there's PHP unit in here. So we've got, both of those. We could use either. And the interesting thing is actually pest will run PHP unit tests. So we could go down and run just PHP unit and see that it runs a test, which is, if I run the test docs, I can never type that properly. It's going to run this example test first of all, but if we then run pest, it's going to run the same example test, which is quite interesting. So yeah, we could use either. I don't know if anyone's got a preference. It's been a while since I wrote pest tests last, but I don't mind.
And anything with pests, so
yeah,
you stick to PHP unit.
Cool. Yeah, we can go with what the mob says. So yeah, I thought this is probably the most basic one. It's just hello world. We want something that says hello world in it. So this would be one just to get the ball rolling, I guess, as it was. So yeah, I stubbed out some tests. Let's find where my cursor is. Hello world. Yeah, so I should be able to run what we saw. Test being run. Why do I only have one test being run? There should be more than that. Tests. Does it not pick it up because it's incomplete, maybe?
Just stop at the first failed test, maybe. It's just incomplete.
Why did you say one test? That's confusing. Let's do the old assert true false thing. Let's see whether it picks that up. Okay, that's really strange. What's going on here? Tests. Oh, I've already got one. I've already got one test. Oh, I know what I've done. I've not mounted in my my stuff. So the volume, right? PWD app. There we go. Yeah, it helps if you mount the latest code into your container. That usually helps. So there we go. More things. Hello world test. There we go. False is true. That's good. That's what we'd expect. So yeah, I quite like starting with these, yeah, empty things. So let's see if we go back here. We just want write a function. Yeah, some of these, the way these tests work isn't the way I'd write them, which is why I tend to just like starting them myself. Yeah, it like requires another file and it doesn't quite work for me usually. But there we are. But yeah, so how let's change. So yeah, I'm using this test annotation here. So I know you said on in yours that you need to start it with the word test, which is true. Actually, and switch this to, it's probably better for sharing. Yeah, you can either start it with the word test, so here, or you could use this annotation. So sometimes I start with should, or you could do something like it says hello, right? And that works. That's quite common. I see that a lot, particularly in Laravel things. But either or, as long as it's, the nice thing about using a nice long name as well is that it gets passed here if you pass test docs in. So that's quite nice. So yeah, okay. So we want something, then let's do this TD style then, and let's do so something is that it says hello. Is it hello world? Doesn't it really matters, does it? But that's what we want to do. Yeah, close enough. So how do we want to do? We need some sort of, we need a class or something. So,
yes, that's a statically callable method in a class would probably one of the easiest ways, isn't it?
Yeah, so something like hello world, say hello, something like that.
Speak, or yeah,
speak would work. Yeah, speak. Okay, so let's do the same thing we said we would do, and let's run these tests as often as we can, then, and let's let the test tell us what to do. So app test hello world is not found. I take my socks off, my feet right. Okay, so we don't have a hello world class right now, which makes sense. So let's make, I've been using Neovim in the last 2 months. I'm quite enjoying it. World.php.
Yeah, you got your computer set up all right then? You got your new computer set up all right?
Yeah, we managed to get WSL running on it, which was quite nice. It seems to be working okay. And then I've just switched it so to use the latest. This is Neovim 0.5, so it's got built-in LSP and things. So like I've switched it today or yesterday, so it wasn't maybe it wasn't the best time to do it. And then we're going to need a namespace, right? So we can just do that. I think that's what I've made it. And then what we can do, I should be able to put them side by side, which would be quite nice. And then I probably need to then use. Okay, so hopefully that error will have changed because we now have hello world. Okay, undefined method speak. Fine, we can do that as well. Yeah, nice to use some PHP 8 stuff in here if we get the chance. And that's, I'm still not used to this coding standard. the Drupal ones are always slightly different to the others. So it's string. So yeah, whenever I start doing some just PHP or some Symfony work. I was like, oh yeah, that coding standard is different.
Yeah, I'd just like to stick to like PSR 12. It's just the same then, whichever code base you go in, but
This is
you
true.
can't always do that, can you?
Yeah, and particularly if you're on a project and there's sort of a slightly different coding standards, that's always different. Okay. Non-static methods speak. So let's find publics needs to be static, I think. Yep. So I guess as long as we're making this error change every time we're making progress, it doesn't seem like it, right? We are moving forward to what our eventual goal is. Hopefully we'll actually get to an assertion failure in a minute. We don't have these sort of set of failures. And yeah, again, if anybody else wants to just, feel free to unmute and join in. Sure.
The next thing is to return a string.
String. Okay, yeah. So we've said here we have to return a string, but I'm not returning anything. So the quickest way to get past that is to do a return string.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting. I can't remember they mentioned this in the refactoring book. It definitely is the testing one. But like, what's the simplest thing we can do to get this thing to pass? Which I think is quite interesting. So yeah, in this case, let's return a string.
It's so itching to say, oh, I want to return a string that says hello world, but that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, indeed. But then this is the thing that I've seen this with Twitter and whatever. People are like, oh, I've written this test, it passed the first time. And I'm like, well, that's great, but do you actually then know it's testing the right thing? Because you need to be able to show that it fails and you can make it fail reliably. Yeah, so yeah, and I've had this when I've done coding, which like everyone sort of says, like, how do you test the test? So we test the test by changing the code, and then you end up with there's a thing called mutation testing as well. So it actually goes through and changes pluses to minuses or whatever. So
yeah,
that's quite fun.
Yeah, and the other way is there's a method called zombie, where you test for 0, you test for 1, you test for multiple, and then you test then the edge cases. You return to your error messages, your exceptions. So yeah, there is another way of approaching it.
There's always different ways of approaching things, as you said. Cool. Right. I don't think there's anything really much to refactor. Like now we got to a passing test. Now we do want to do refactoring, right? But I don't think there's that much we really need to refactor in this one, just because. Yeah, I think it's quite fun. As you said, it's we could change this to like say hello or something, or say something. We could change it over, so that's going to fail, and then we'd have to change over here as well. Speaker is say something. Hey, that's cool. To complete that as well. Nice. And yeah, we could make a thing and say private const something, if we really wanted to. But I suppose, like, is that worth doing? Probably not for this one. I probably wouldn't go that far. So yeah, I think that one's probably okay, unless you think we should change anything or add anything in. Anybody? Michael, anybody? Oh, are you okay with that one?
It's good to me.
An idea. Okay, so let's see. Which other ones do we have in here? Bob's quite a good one. So I thought we'd just pick a couple of the easier ones, and then maybe next time we can go. Bowling is quite fun. We did that before, and then someone's like, "So we ended up with this thing of like, how do you actually score a game of bowling?" It's like so similar to the Yahtzee one. Like unless you do bowling, you probably don't know how it goes. So okay, so this one's a little bit more complicated. So yes, Bob is a lackadaisical. So if you ask a question, it will say one thing. If you yell, it will say another thing. If you yell a question, Okay. Okay, so there's a few sort of things, key things in here. So I think these are our sort of use cases. So something I quite like doing is making copying and pasting stuff to begin with. These are as well, like requirements. So like if you open, actually, probably we'll need this in the line. Just do prop test. Okay, so I've got the same sort of thing. Yeah, so it's probably what's the simplest one we can do right now. And I think looking back at this, like I'd probably start with the end one. So it says just returns whatever to anything else. So that seems to me to be the simplest one to start with. And then we can build in the things for these afterwards. So I'd probably do second down, find, yeah, so it should say whatever to anything else. And this is going to be pretty similar to the other one, actually. Same, and it should say whatever. And then we'd probably need to do like a Bob, and then say like the other one, I guess.
Yep.
Pretty similar responses. Yeah, let's try and keep the things consistent. So yeah, this is pretty similar to the other one that we that we had.
Building on it, isn't it?
Yeah, similar steps. So it's almost like I did that on purpose. So let's do this one here. Test boom. And then what we can do, this is quite cool, is you can do, well, we can just copy that here, which is quite cool, which is quite nice. And actually, this is a big thing of what you were saying, it's about like learning your tools as well.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. Bob's not found because we haven't used Bob yet. Cool, undefined method. Yeah, this is, yeah, it's interesting because like I'm not really thinking that much about this. I'm just reading what the messages are saying and then making changes to things. Which is why interesting. We always get this thing of oh, we don't have time to do tests or TDD, but you spend a lot more time going back and forth thinking what is it we actually need to do, rather than just writing the test to begin with, I find. But it's worth spending that little bit of time up front to just do it. So just clear out that from the last one. So we've got a response, still returning a string, so that's fine. Yeah, so we can just return that should cool. So yeah, again, I quite like starting with this basic. What's the simplest thing we can do? And this is what I was saying earlier on. Actually, it's just like copying and pasting.
Yeah.
Things in if I can. So doesn't like that. That's fine. Especially if I've got something like given when then or whatever, it's quite nice to just paste them in for now. Okay, so let's see which is the next thing we want to do. Probably if you're addressing that saying anything, that's probably going to be the next one to do, I think. So
send him an empty message.
Probably just copy this in, can we? There's a thing I know to do with the range, and I can't remember what it is right now. Say, should say fine if you do not say anything. Yeah, that's the nice thing. Once you've got like a base test working, yeah, once you get to copy and paste stuff, it usually is a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, so string is failing. And yeah, so I suppose we're going to need to pass in something. So maybe just for the sake of readability, it's going to pass in, is it a question. No, it's it's almost input, but I don't want to say input. what's the right word?
Speech.
Speech. Yeah. Okay, here we go for speech. Speech. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So speech gives me on time. So probably gonna get interesting. I think we can end up with a failure in the first one now because we're not actually passing anything through. What test? Interesting. I'm still only seeing one. I suspect it's probably see two failures there, but
Yeah, the first one's passing,
because we haven't
and the second one.
Yet. Yeah, but we need to put speech in here. Now it's probably going to fail, isn't it? Because actually, yeah, we'll just do that. I think if we did this, then it's probably going to end up with two failures, right? Because too few arguments to function. But what we could do is repress the default.
Set the default.
But yeah, that's fine. Cool. So yeah, we've got our return whatever. So I guess I've got that in here because I've not put anything in. I guess we'll just look for our empty string. If I could type the word speech, it would be amazing. Where's our, yeah. So we could do something like similar again what you were just doing is if speech equals that, then return fine. Right. What have I broken?
Colon in the end.
Semicolon.
Yeah, that happened to me a few times.
This is a great thing about pairing, right? You get another, or especially if you've got like a group of people. It's not indenting this the right way right now. And yeah, this is something like
be that way is got by that way.
Good spot. Yeah, there's probably a case here to put some constants in at some point. So it's still getting a failure, I guess, because we've set that to be the default, right?
Yeah, so that's the default.
If we said this was like a null or something, it's probably going to do something. Or have I broken it? All right. So speech is a null. I was expecting that to work.
Double equals.
That's double equals.
It's false, isn't it?
So you want to do triple?
Yeah.
Nice. Good. So
yes.
That one.
I did 20 minutes of that yesterday. So I fast forwarded 10 minutes of that.
Yeah, but you know, if we hadn't done that, there's a bug. So we've caught a bug there by having this test. Okie dokie. Yeah, let's maybe do these three, and then we can do another one of these after another point, maybe. Cool. So, calm down. Any preferences to which of these we want to do? How do we want to figure out whether it's a question?
Yeah. Question mark is going to be something with a question mark in there, isn't it?
And what we could do for this
ends with a question mark or something like that.
Yeah, I'd normally reach for regular expression for this, and but because we've got PHP 8, we could use string ends with.
Yes.
Should ask it to respond to a question. So a Question. It's fine. Sure. So if you put test docs at the end, I like this because you can see what it is. So you can see it's on 29, so it's definitely that one that's failing. So yeah, I was thinking like fine, because yeah, usually I do like a if and then fine, and then you'd sort of do like like preg match or something. And
Yeah,
then you'd have to then look for that. But if it's HP8, we should have string ends with
yeah.
like string in, which is pretty cool. If I could find it. Yeah, interesting. It wasn't auto completing that. No. So literally just ends with a question mark.
Which way around is it? Which is the needle and which is the haystack?
Oh, that's a good question. Haystack needle.
Haystack first. Yeah.
So speech. Then we've got the test, right? So that'll tell us that anyway. Return. No, actually, I think there would be a case you'd use match probably as well. That would be really interesting. Sure. Is that right? The nice thing is I'm not really sure what it is, but the test will tell me. String ends with argument was your type of string null given. I guess that's our default one coming in, isn't it? So
Default is null.
So we could do a thing and just do a if it's null speech. Just move this around. All right, because then, yeah, we're returning a little bit earlier. This is, yeah, a really interesting workflow because then you have it, oh, I don't know. Because yeah, you're sort of on autopilot, like I was saying earlier on. it's a little bit weird, particularly when I first started to write tests. Even for things like this, you're like, I want to write the code first, and I want to test it afterwards. And it's getting over that initial sort of feeling of wanting to do that. It's quite surprising. We'll get there. Yeah. So we've done question. Okay, so we could do yell maybe next. We can do the same thing, but rather than with a question, we could do it with exclamation.
Could be. Or is yelling
Or
capitals?
Oh, that's good. That's a good point. Yelling. A question. Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't. Does it actually say? How does it do it in that test here?
Chill out, question, exclamation mark.
Exclamation. Okay, let's do the exclamation, but we could do that later on.
Sounds good. No.
Yeah. A question.
You're shouting the question.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the same one, same as the question mark, except it's going to be looking for an exclamation mark.
Yes, indeed. So we should just like that and then. Yeah, I'm not entirely thinking about this because I did quite like the way it was having whatever has been the default. Maybe because now we don't have like a return at the end. We've still got it inside a conditional, but I don't know. We could maybe come back to that later on. And this one returns. Yeah, it's definitely it's a good idea. We could have some constants in here.
Yeah.
Why is this not pressing? Whoa, chill out. Exclamation mark.
Full stop.
Full stop.
That's the
On this
exclamation
side.
mark.
Oh, on that side. On that side. Cool. We're doing well. And then what's the last one? We've done that one. Calm down for yell a question. All right, okay. So we can paste that into, yeah. Oh, it's called the that's what it is. I was like, why is it not catching the whole string? Because it's catching that first thing. Let's just paste that. Try not to look at my keyboard. Yeah, I do try to do a lot more touch typing recently. And, yeah, not looking at my keyboard. So yelling a question. So I wonder, does this, would it be literally something like this? How would we yell a question? Exclamation question mark or something like that?
Sounds good.
This is where I push you back to a project manager and it's like, better criteria, please. Yeah, what's this auto pairs thing? There's a plugin I've got installed. Okay, so I wonder, could we do another string end with and just check for before these two?
Yeah, it'll have to be before the question mark, wouldn't it?
Yeah, again, that's a nice thing though, because we'll have these tests and we can.
The way around.
The other way around. Should it be the other way around, or should it be like technically? I'm not sure which way. It should be, but for the purposes of this, we can. Okay. Yeah, green. So yeah, I guess what you were saying is if we were to do that and we just put it down further here, then it would be
find the question mark first, wouldn't it?
It'd find it in the other order, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that's nice. And again, you've got these tests to tell us that. Yeah, so I suppose anything with this is, yeah, I did like it when this was sort of at the bottom of here. It's nice to have just like a default return thing in mind.
Well, the way to do that is
so I'd like to do that if we could.
The first test, you have to pass in anything, and then you remove the null from the constructor.
Yeah, so I think to me this looks better than having everything. It's just having like that last thing is, it's more like a final thing. Yes. Like it's definitely doing something. And in fact, I think if I was to put PHP Stan or Psalm on here, I think it would flag that. It would say you might not have a return because you might not hit any of these if statements.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that's what happens. So I feel like it would want this. But yeah, the nice thing is we've got these tests, so we can do this refactoring and not worry about breaking it. Sorry. So what were you saying? So currently we've got speech equals null.
Yeah, so get rid of speech equals null.
Okay. So just hiding this. Okay. And now we've got a fly thing in my face. Nice. Two fragments to function.
Right, so the first test, we have to say anything and pass in.
See, yeah. So actually we can just do fine, just literally pass anything.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm very literal, as you know.
Exactly that.
Yeah, nice.
That's it.
So that's cool. So we've got all those tests running. Actually, let's just do all the tests. That's fine because they're all separate. They're not going to break anything. So yeah.
Oh, that's the bowling ones. Oh yeah.
Yes, I put some spares in here. So like again, this one we might want to do, just add that in, get rid of that. Yeah, it's nice because now we're in this little refactoring phase. We can tidy it. In fact, maybe like even all of these, the speech could probably just go inside the thing.
The other thing you could look at is the PHP What's the replacement for the switch statement?
Match.
Match. There we
Mm.
go. So you're literally
I was thinking that as
matching
you were
it
doing
against
it. Well, then let's
speech.
have a look at that. Match. Yeah. I'll throw this on GitHub as well. This is quite fun. Match. I've not used this before, so this is quite fun. Match condition. Especially if it's default. It's not the best way of seeing that. Something a bit more.
So you've got a case statement for there. And then you've got a default. There we go, that one will do.
So let's see, switch. Oh, compared to switch block. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure. So we could probably use, how does it work again? Match something. What's that indentation?
You just return match.
Can we return match? Because that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And then
try it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then do you press speech? Yeah, is that
speech? Yeah. So I think does the return statement go inside match as well? Or you're returning out of the match block, I'm guessing.
Let's have a look. There's no return here. So if
all right, okay. But they're one-liners, aren't they? You can only do one line. That's it.
Okay. So if we just deleted this until that and then pasted it here.
Yeah.
Would that mean get rid of this, possibly? Syntax if that's a syntax problem. What have I missed? Do I need
comma,
maybe?
The comma at the end.
Unhandled match. Oh, wait a minute. Unhandled match value type string. So I set a default in here. Is that the thing? Ooh.
So you've got chill out, which is the second test, is it, or the first test?
Yeah.
Chill out is the second test. There we go then.
So I'm getting this as we go along. As we go along. So can I literally now just put that down here? Have that.
Yeah.
Have that be. I know there's better shortcut. I'm sure all the film people are like, yeah, don't do that. So like literally like this, and then delete this block. This is fun. This is a nice refactor if we can do it. If we turn off test
43.
I was hoping it was going to give me a bit more. Actually, what we could do is do stop and failure. You should probably see it change then.
Should respond to a question. Should respond to.
That's what this would work. Strings with. Oh, I'm missing. There's a thing missing here, right? I'm missing my question. That was it.
Question, is it?
There we go. Yeah, it's missing the second argument. I got missing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if we actually, let's just duplicate that for now. Place that here, and then this one is show. That. And this one. Oh no, wait a minute. I've got
The wrong way around.
I've got
no, sure.
Well, we had this one here, didn't we? I'm going too fast my own. I'm too fast my own thing here. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, usually I'd committed this as we went.
That's why I comment out my code.
Yeah, this is a good point. I should
It's
have done
an
that.
easier way to revert commented out code.
Yeah, indeed. And this
And then once the tests are passing, then delete it.
I feel like one of them is still wrong because I've got world shot in here twice.
Yeah, whoa, chill out is a question, isn't it? Should response to yelling a question exclamation mark. All right, so yeah.
That's world chill out. And exclamation should be. Oh, they're both world chill out. Oh, it'd be nice if this worked. Default is that. Oh, isn't it? The default is whatever, isn't it? We were too ambitious with our match. With our matching. Because yeah, no
Whatever.
that.
What was whoa, chill out then? Which one was that?
Anybody in the
Line
chat?
43.
Let's have a look in the chat. No.
It was only you and I.
It's fine. Let's just keep going. Oh, cool. Great to see you. What have I done? Broken this. Come on, let's get this working. I really should. I've never committed something and then regretted committing it. I've not committed something and then regretted not committing it afterwards. Talk to a question. You sure? That's fine. Yelling is well chill out. Yelling at questions, you will chill out. Let's double check the thing. Sure. Oh, that's it. Calm down. Should respond to yell a question. Okay. Then we'd have to sort of escape that one here. Yeah, we're too ambitious here, aren't we? That's right, because I was thinking match as we went through it, and I was like, oh, it'd be nice to be able to do that. Everything's returning back, whatever. Mine's just not understanding how match works.
Maybe.
I was hoping.
Have you got access to speech inside of the match?
I imagine so. So passing it through here. Let's just double check this docs. Yeah. Match
request method.
Get. It's sort of like saying, yeah, return. Can we not do something like? Is it just matching based on strings? Can we not pass like functions in here? Because that would be disappointing.
Ah, okay. So it's just a string match, is it? I thought it could do it. That was one of the things for it was.
Yes, we could do.
You could do more with it.
Yeah. Actually, it's just
maybe it's just our
these things. Maybe yeah.
Understand it.
Yeah, admittedly I've not used it more, so it could possibly be. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do. We could do something like.
That's 43 of the test, isn't it? What was line 43 of the test?
43 is. Come on, I know what I'm doing.
So is it passing all the others then?
So this one is incomplete. No, seems to be no, they're all come back as whatever.
Okay.
It's disappointing. I mean, we could do it with the switch, right? But it would have been nice to not do it with the switch. Yeah. And then this would be default, we could return that. So we'll do something like this, can we? But I'm gonna have to go back and look at this later on, I think,
Yeah,
and just see what. Because it'd be nice if that would have worked. And then
yeah, definitely.
go on from here. Yeah. Let's return that. That's the other thing I see a lot is with people with like case statements like this. The fact, yeah, it's like there's like a break. You don't need a break if you're returning something.
Single conditional expression returns a return expression.
This is one of the. This is backwards still.
Ah, okay. So you can have an expression on the one side, but you have to call it.
Yeah, I think we're trying to do the other way around, don't we? Or am I? Or is it just we have these backwards? No. Oh well. Let's just put it back the way it was. Abort. Where's the last bit that worked? Before we got to the matching. Yeah, I thought that worked. And then, yeah, that's because we've fixed this now, isn't it? This one was wrong. This was meant to be. That was meant to be that. Yeah, I might have a. Not tonight, but I think when. Yeah, I'm sure you could probably use a match there, but I think that's something for another point. Yeah, that was good. If you were to use two things with,
I think what you could have done is have the match at the beginning, and then it calls a method that checks the condition that returns true if, so it checks the condition if it was an exclamation mark and returns true.
Right.
And then it would return the truth condition. Possibly, I don't know.
I think
that's the way I've possibly read it, but that might be a way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll put that in there to do.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was.
So it looks like the condition is a truthy thing.
Yeah. Test. Yeah, pest. It's quite cool. Yeah, maybe next time we'll do some pest testing or something as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So yeah, the example in the doc has got match with a X being passed in for the condition, and then it calls foo, and then it calls this bar, and it's saying this bar isn't called if foo is equal to X.
Okay. Right, I think I'll do a bit of research into that. The fact, I think, so that would be quite nice. Cool. Yeah, I think, well, we're at a point where we've got the tests all passing as they were. So I've backed that out to where put it back up here. So yeah, everything we're back to just using ifs and returns.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah, there we go. So that was quite fun. Quite enjoyed
definitely.
that. Yeah, let's say there's a bit more we could have a look at extracting some constants as well. Probably that would be a good next step. And
having a constant file.
Yeah, or I don't know,
common constants.
Or yeah, or even
or something.
Yeah, or even an enum if you're doing PHP 8, or
Yeah.
just or literally just putting private, or even just having public. Is read only a thing here yet, or is that 8.1?
I think is that the next one that's come in.
Yeah, so you could do
I
like
don't know.
say whatever. So you could put something like you could put it there and then reference it both places if you wanted to.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
cool. Yeah, right. I'll definitely commit this and push up to GitHub, and maybe we can do a bit more of this one lunchtime or one evening or something. Get a little group of people together, because this was quite fun. Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
It's good.
For your talk as well. We enjoyed watching your talk. Yeah, I'm gonna do a bit more reading of refactoring and get on with the test type refactoring with tests stuff. And I think that's really important. That seems to be like the main sort of thing of any sort of big refactoring or any sort of refactoring, is having test coverage in there for it first. So
the confidence it gives you, definitely. It's well worth it.
Yeah. Because like in that situation, I completely broken it, but I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't had those tests, probably.
No.
Or it would have been a bit, or I would have to back it back out quite easily.
Yeah, definitely. What I would have done is commented all of the other tests, the other if statements out, and then done the case statement, and I would have only deleted the comments after I got the case statement working.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Right, well, I'll commit these up after the fact, and yeah, if you want to, if you want to pull request it, then yeah, feel free to.
If you want to do some additional ones on after that talk, there's things that were really bugging you that I haven't finished, then my one is online as well in my my repo.
Cool.
I think it ends PHP South Wales. So.
Oh, that's always good to find.
The Yahtzee kata.
Bob. World. Cool. Yeah, push those up in a minute, and then they'll be there for everybody. Yeah, this was fun. Enjoyed.
Thank you for your time.
Cool. See you soon.
Been good. Catch you next month.
Okay.
So long, mate. Have a good one.